Alright, so I have finished volume 3 of the deluxe edition, so that's 7, 8, and 9, I think? Yep, 7, 8, and 9. And I think I finished this, like, before Christmas, and I won't let myself continue until I get my thoughts out, so I have a moment to sit down and film. Alright, so, love it. Obviously. I'm also past Jessica's an idiot, because as I was reading back through the chapters and making my notes, I'm like, how'd I miss that? Did my brain just not accept that this was going to happen? We'll get to what I'm talking about later. Alright, so we continue off with Casca and Guts have fallen off the cliff. Idiot, rhino, whoever is color, sneak attack. And they have fallen into the river, washed up, and are hiding in a cave. And I talked before about how Guts was antagonizing Casca, calling out her gender, saying this is why you're not a warrior. And my interpretation will always be that Guts feels the way you get past a hard, difficult moment is just to get angry. So he's trying to make her angry so she can push through whatever injury she's facing, whatever mental thing is going on, just to get her moving. But it's not really working. It's just making her more upset. So instead, he has to switch tactics, and he's asking her about herself, about Griffith, about what's important to her, why she joined the band The Hawk. Last video, I'm pretty sure I talked about her backstory, where she was forced to save herself, but with Griffith's help. He tossed her the weapon, which she used to kill the man, / she doesn't even remember doing it, but now she has committed herself to Griffith and just wants to be useful to him, to be his sword, his weapon. She talks about in the past how they were in the early stages of the band The Hawk, and they needed funding, they needed a benefactor, and went to this monster, General Lord, who cares, that just had a bunch of children in his employment, this terrible human being. The children all wanted to die. They had no life in them other than fear, the trauma in their eyes. Like, this is a terrible, terrible world. And everyone's just like, yeah, we can definitely take money from this man. And Griffith has these moments where I don't know if Griffith has always been manipulative bastard, or if he was genuinely a good person at one point in time fighting for his dream and realized he had to manipulate and control others to get what he wanted. So in this past moment, I don't know if when he is on a battlefield and he sees a child who had been fighting for him, that had a little toy soldier because he respected and was praised by and wanted to be a soldier like the adults around him because he's a child and he has died in the battlefield. Griffith says that this did not affect him, that his dream will be coded on the blood of others and other people's corpses, but he must keep going or else everyone has died for nothing. And he said, I'm not going to act in a way because of this one child's death, but he probably does, and he's lying to himself if he was a good person at any point in time. So he takes up the benefactor of this terrible man, and also he himself goes with him for the night, and terrible, terrible. When Casca finds him the next day after seeing him with the rich pedophile guy, Griffith is in the water trying to clean himself, and I think makes a joke, are you going to join me? I'm not that dirty, am I? Because he views himself as what he had to do as a terrible thing, as it is, and she tries to make give him an out. Oh, I know that's not what happened. I don't think that of you. He's like, no, it's exactly what you thought happened. I did it for the Band of the Hawk. It saved people's lives. No, I didn't do it for the one child who died in the battlefield. But isn't it better for us to get money this way so we won't have to go on as many campaigns to get money? This will save people. This means not as many people will die. I'm doing the right thing. As he is having a mental breakdown, trying to clean himself and scratching into his arms and skin, drying blood, the self-hatred and mutilation that he's undergoing, the self-harm, I'm like, oh my God. And as Casca is telling all this to Griffith, as she's telling it to Guts, he's just lost in what the Band of the Hawk had gone through before he had joined them, and what Griffith had been through as well. Casca continues to praise Griffith, saying he has never given up on his dream, and I will be his sword. He cuts through a path to make it happen. I will be useful to him. But then the conversation's cut short as the enemies are coming looking for their bodies because no one thinks they survived that fall. And Crazy Buddy, leader of the other troops, has put a bounty on them for dead or alive, bring them to me. So they're trying to escape. Of course, they get surrounded and they have to fight their way out. Casca's still injured, as well as on her period and in intense pain for that, having difficult moving. And Guts is taking the majority of the time protecting her. And he's all for it. He's like, you do not touch her. Leave her be. I will protect her. Bolt to the shoulder. Not letting anyone get near her. And she's still fighting as well. I love her style of fighting in this manga. It's like a frame by frame movement when you see it's I interpret it as she's very small and quick, so her movements are very smooth and able to get around the larger people without so much. They're not quite as swift, I guess. And I love how it's depicted in the manga as like just frame by frame how she's moving. I do love that. But she is in the way, so Guts tells her, just run, go for help, and he is left alone with 100 men trying to kill them. She ends up running through the woods. A smaller group try to get her, attempt to assault her again, but she stabs them through the eye, because she's not going down without a fight, and thankfully, the rest of the Band of the Hawk shows up to protect her and save her, and then they run to go back to Guts. Of course, they find him among the corpses of 100 soldiers, and he's just propped up against the tree like, oh, it was a fun time. Yeah, we're good here. He is now the man who has killed 100 men on his own. In my head, I'm thinking, my God, is this unreasonable? But at the same time, I'm assuming most of these people are not well trained. There was a moment where the commander buddy is just like, guys, stop attacking him one-on-one. All of you charge. Like, they're not really sure how to respond, so I doubt they're really the best trained soldiers. Oh, I forgot. How did I forget to mention, like, my favorite part? But when Guts had sent Casca away, she was reluctant to do it. She wanted to stay and help fight because she didn't want to be protected by him. But he's just like, is this where you want to die? I should get the exact words because, oh my God, I love that scene. All right, so first he does his normal tactic of trying to get her angry so he can manipulate someone into doing what they want, saying, sick as you are, you're just in my way, so get lost. It ain't my way to run off. Besides, I got a score to settle with this bright boy. It's like you said before, maybe I'm satisfied just as long as I can swing my sword around. So saying, get lost, you're in my way. But she won't do it. So instead, he says, is this right by you, dying in a place like this? Here, this worthless place, is this where it ends for you? Is what you want that cheap? A sword returns to its sheath, right? Go to your sword master. And, yeah, go to Griffith. And I'm just like, he would be satisfied dying in battle in the mud against this lesser army that only has a leg up on them because of their numbers. He's fine going down swinging. But she is meant for a bigger purpose. She wants to help Griffith achieve his dreams, and she's not going to be able to do that if she dies here in the middle of nowhere in a no-name battle. So that's the motivation that it takes for her to finally go and to go for help. And I love it. I love it so much. The difference between kind of their characters and what they're fighting for. And it makes sense that that Guts be the one to fight in this no-name battle, supposedly to die, to get her to the point where she can help Griffith achieve his dream. I love that moment. So they all take Guts back to the camp. He is fighting them along the way, and they're just like, you're hurting yourself, you're opening wounds, you're going to die, bleed to death. Someone else would have already bled out from blood loss. Like, let us help you. You're injured. Stop fighting us. And they're not sure if he'll be able to continue with the campaign, but Guts insists, yes, I am going to finish out this campaign. I will be fighting stupid doctor, leave me alone. And Judo who I still do not trust because his name looks too similar to Judas, and I cannot bring myself to trust him. But this led me to think maybe I can. So he gives some elf fairy whatever healing dust for Casca to give to Guts, and it made me miss my little fairy from the beginning. Was it Puck? I miss him, and I forgot that I haven't had him in so long. I love him. But Casca gives it to Guts, and it is very fast acting, makes him, his wounds will be ready for the next battle. But they are up on this hill with the trees looking down over the campfires, and again, it is such a good moment for the series. We reflect back on Griffith saying that he, can only respect or think of someone as a friend who's on equal level to him, which is just weird. But they're looking over the campfires and all the small little lights, and it's just like all those little lights and campfires are individual people's dreams, but they get lost out with the burning inferno of Griffith, and his dream is what everyone else is surrounded among, but Guts doesn't see his own dream among these campfires, and he just needs to find his own path, his own will. In my opinion, he wants to find some way to make himself worthy to be on an equal level to Griffith, and he doesn't think he can do that here with the Hawks. He has to go forge his own path for that to work. So he flat out says that this is going to be his last campaign, his last time with the Hawks, and he's going to leave. He's not subtle about it, but stupid past Jessica refused to accept and believe that, and it's just like, that's not true. He's not leaving his friends. They were all so excited to have him back, saying, Captain or Commander of the Raiders, like, thank God you're okay. You're the best. We're so proud of you. Thank you for being with us. He's so protective of his men and doesn't want them to be harmed. He's not leaving them. I just flat out refuse to, like, read or process the fact he said he was leaving. 100% did not think he was leaving, and it is stated multiple times in this stupid volume. Oh yeah, I'm going to leave after this campaign. I did not believe it the entire time. Like, he talks about one of his, like, right-hand men wanting to go open a shop when they're finished, and someone else is trying to get enough glory to be worthy of proposing to a girl he likes. He knows these people. He's friends with them. They love him. He no longer has, like, touch aversion to them. Why would he want to leave? But now they're in a command center. The king is issuing orders, and everyone turns to Griffith, who has casually stated that the Band of the Hawk can overtake this Dudley or whatever castle owned by the Tudor forces stronghold, which will turn the tides of the war if given the order by the king. And everyone's like, you're jesting. Why? You can't be serious. You wouldn't do something like that. Or you couldn't do something like that. It's held for 100 years. You can't take this castle. Stronger, better men, more forces than you have tried. And Griffiths is just like, did I stutter? If the king commanded it, the Band of the Hawk is all I need to take that castle. And the king's just like, all right, bet, take that castle for me. I so order it. And I'm not sure if Griffith wanted them to call out his bluff. I think he wasn't bluffing. I think he was serious. I think he wanted to take that because he knew the one who assaulted him earlier in his campaign years in Band the Hawk, the one with the pedophilia children obsessed that he took money from in the past, was held up at that castle, and he's out to take his head. He claims he doesn't care about what happened and just needs his loose tongue taken care of, so he's not spreading rumors. I'm going with there's still some humanity in him, and he just wanted revenge, and I'm all for it. But he comes up with a ridiculous plan that works flawlessly. So the Band of the Hawk is charging at the castle. We make note of a dust storm coming in and being roused up by the all the horses, and their back is to the water. So if they get pushed back to the water, they will die. They have no exit route. They have to fight their way out. And the leader of the forces is like, we will take care of this, no problem. But the one above him, supreme commander guy in charge, is like, no, I want Griffith alive. You're going to bring him to me. I've done nothing but think about him since our one night together. And I'm just like, you're disgusting. There's a child behind you who looks dead inside, and I need this man to die painfully. So the plan is stupid at first, which is basically just Guts and his raiders charging in, trying to break through the ranks to get to the general inside. And everyone's just like, this is a terrible idea. It's never going to work. Oh, he's actually breaking through. Let's just actually surround the commander because we don't actually want this crazy guy, to get to him. We'll take a couple precautions to keep him safe. Oh, it looks like it didn't work. So him and his forces are retreating back. Should we give chase? Commander guy's just like, no, this seems like a bad idea. It seems odd that their ploy or their plan was to just try to charge through and take me out and hope that breaks ranks. Something is up. But Supreme Commander guy in charge, pedophilia buddy, has come down because didn't like how the battle was going and thought they would have killed Griffith, and he wants him alive. So says, no, give chase. Be an idiot, chase after them as they clearly are baiting you to follow them, but make sure you bring me Griffith alive. Here is all the rewards possible. So they chase him away, leaving behind like a skeletal force to defend the castle, because everyone wants this prize that the guy in charge has promised them. Leaving Casca and her army, her forces, very small, to come in hidden by the dust storm, which she then gets through the gates, kills anyone who could send out a message, and starts raiding the fortress to take the castle. But stupid guy who pretended to be asleep or dead that was trying to kill her and Guts in the woods previously, what's it, Bluey's super long names, involves colors. He is pathetic, and the only reason I don't despise this man as being a rapist, hating women, whatever, is because he's depicted as being so pathetic. It's hilariously funny. So they're fighting there because he has now come back and said, oh, I knew you would do this thing, which is why they left me behind to deal with you. And she's like, no, you're probably being punished. You're just stupid. And they start fighting. Casca has no problems taking him out. He is on his knees begging for mercy. And she is just like, these weird little faces. And I love the humor in these fights here because it really breaks up the dark moments of Berserk and how brutal it can be. You need that moment of levity. It can't be dark the entire way through. You kind of just get numb to it. You need these little funny moments to break that, bring you into a moment of, like, not happiness, but amusement, that levity, and then for it to all crash down again when you go back into the bleak moments. So she doesn't know what to make of this guy who has repeatedly said he wanted to sexually assault her. But then, as he is begging for his life, showing, which is semi-interesting to show that he's not willing to, or he is willing to demean himself if it means survival. He'll say and do whatever it takes to survive, no matter how pathetic it makes him look. Then pulls out a poison crossbow to shoot her. She pulls out the crossbow, and eventually they are able to take him out and take the castle, even while she's undergoing the effects of the poison. But it was mostly a very humorous battle, in my opinion, with just a few moments that dipped into the little dark areas. With their backs to the water, they're fighting. Griffith and Guts and them are fighting with the invading army because they don't know what's going on back at the castle yet, and they're waiting for Casca to raise up the flags to pretty much break the will and motivations and break the ranks and formations of the enemy troops. Guts is fighting the head rhino general guy with all the spiky armor, and it's not really going well for him. His sword had been damaged during the fight with the 100 men and ends up breaking. I do like that slightly before this, he's like, well, this is really going bad for me, but it could be worse. I did fight that demon guy Zod a little while ago, and it's not as bad as that. We're not as hopeless as that situation. But when his sword breaks and he's left with this just tiny little piece of blade on the hilt, I'm just like, yeah, I can't use this. I'm used to using a sword 3 times my size. I can't use one like this big. This is my butter knife. So it looks like he's about to actually die when we see Zod in the background, who's apparently keeping tabs on, I'm assuming he's more keeping tabs on Griffith than Guts, but maybe both of them, and throws his own sword there for Guts to pick up to continue fighting and end up winning the fight, taking down the general. And then that's when the flags go up in at the castle and everyone's hope is dashed. and they all kind of scatter, and anyone who doesn't leave or continues to fight are easily taken down by the Hawks, as they're now very disorganized and can't believe what just happened. Griffith comes up to fight the, not really fight, Supreme Commander guy, benefactor from years ago, and he is pleading for his life, saying, all I've done is think about and long for that time or that night we spent together. Surely you can't hold anything against me. You can't despise me. I was telling my men not to harm you. Do you resent me for what we did or anything like that? And he's just like, you mean nothing to me. I don't think about you at all. Regrets, dissatisfaction, whatever. Nope, not a thing. You are nothing but a rock on the path I walk. And he's just like, that must be worse. Worse than hatred, worse than despising him, worse than regretting their time together. Like, to know you mean nothing to him. You affect him nothing whatsoever. Which to me is Griffith just making this man feel terrible the worst way he can. But really, yeah, no, he hates you for what you did to him. Griffith then stabs him in the eye, kills him. Love it. Wish he died more painfully. We also see Zod riding away, talking about how the eclipse will be upon us. I've definitely heard, okay, they've mentioned the eclipse a multitude of times within this series, and I've definitely heard of it in reference to Berserk, but it's really starting to bug me that I don't know what happens. I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure this is just based on a different anime that I've seen a trailer for, that an eclipse opens a portal to the demon world. So I'm assuming that. I'm also assuming that the mark of sacrifice that we learned about in the first part of the series, and the same one that Guts gets on his neck, means that to complete whatever ritual the eclipse brings about will have to end with Guts being sacrificed. So I'm assuming it's just going to be Griffith has sacrificed everything that meant something to him for power. So the entirety of the Band of Hawks, specifically Casca, specifically her, she'll be sacrificed in some kind of way, maybe even turned into one of the demons that we've seen before, and somehow Guts gets away. I don't know. What's up with this eclipse? We then make it to the halfway point of this bind up here, which is them returning to the city. Again, Guts is talking about how this will be the last time that he swings the sword under this banner previously, and I'm just like, my brain did not register it. I refuse to believe that Guts is leaving. And we see the queen and a bunch of cloaked figures, as well as the one from earlier that was trying to get rid of Griffith, talking about how it's shameful that he's been elevated to general alongside so many nobles, that a common-born boy cannot raise this high, and they're going to kill him, specifically poison him. The queen had been sleeping with the Julius guy from previously and blames Griffith for his death, and talks about how the king was so in love with his first wife that this was just a political marriage with them, and she couldn't take the cold relationship and needed comfort, and didn't realize till after Julius's death that she actually loved him, so now she must kill Griffith in retaliation. But the guy who previously tried to kill Griffith gets a letter at the end, and obviously Griffith's just like, I know you're planning to kill me, so save your own life. You gotta do what I say. Pretty sure that was basically what was written on that note. We see him riding into town. Everyone's cheering, happy that the hero has returned. The princess is jealous of anyone looking at him. I really, really, really wanted him to stay away from the princess. I don't like it. But yeah, that's where I'll stop with this video, and I'll pick up at this moment with the party and everything later on. Alright, talk to you later. I'm having an absolute blast with Berserk. I love these characters. Their motivations are really what gets to me. And the plot itself with this upcoming eclipse, I'm excited. Alright, talk to you later.